not happy about what's going on with Tory Lanez because I don't even want to say I told you so. I don't like the fact that I have to say I told you so. I don't like the fact that I have to say I told you so. You know why? Because that means that he's innocent and he should not be in this position in the first place. That's the reason why I don't like to say I told you so. But this is what they had to say about Tory Lanez at the press conference. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Peterson on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in. And we think it's time.
Wait. Somebody said because you talk a big game and it's fake. I talk a big game about what? About busting down your chick? Oh, make no mistake about it. I will absolutely put it on her forehead. 100%. I have no shame on that. I will say that in front of my chick. I will say that in front of everybody. I 100% will put the D on her forehead and let it slide right on down her cheek. No shame in my game. That is who I am. The people around me understand that that's who I am. My mother understands that that's who I am. 100%. Now, just because she signed an NDA, a consent agreement, and a confidentiality agreement don't mean nothing. But I 100% will slide it right on over. 100%. Absolutely. That's why I'm on tour. I'm on I Choose You 2 tour.
Enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home. So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell.
That is just too coincidental for me, honest to God. It's too coincidental for me. You late, Latoya? Latoya, what you doing being late? Don't be being late no more. We started the show later today, not even early. It's no reason for you to be late, Latoya. That is too coincidental for me for the minute that they start seeking more information because they have new evidence that they are revealing to the people that ultimately testified against him, that got him jailed and in prison for the next 10 years. He gets assaulted by a guy that is doing life in prison. Think about that for a second, y'all. Now, all of a sudden, just so happened the next day, he's stabbed a bunch of times. What they say, 14 times? He's stabbed a bunch of times by a guy that's not even black, that's not even white, 14 times on the yard in prison. I just don't believe that it's a coincidence. I believe that this is one of the most evil, demonic things that we see happening. And I think that people are trying to cover themselves and cover their tracks. By a Mexican, correct. He was a Mexican guy. By a Mexican. Hold on. Let me pull him up. I'll show you what he looked like. See if I can get it up. This is him right here. Dude is doing life in prison. He stabs Tory Lanez 14 times. 14 times. He was trying to kill him. You know how many times you got to say? That's 14 right there. That's a hit, bro. That ain't no beef. That ain't us fighting. That ain't us getting into it in a chow hall and going back and forth. That is a hit. When you stab somebody with a shank 14 times, you trying to kill them. That is a hit. I just don't believe that it's coincidental. I don't. And this guy, this random lifer, a 42-year-old lifer that's serving life in prison, get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here. I just don't believe it. You're never going to convince me that this is anything other than a hit. I think that they trying to kill this boy and not ever let him see the day of light. Not ever try. I think Slimmy gonna go crazy on this one tonight when we had this conversation, honestly.
Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free.
Now, we're thankful that this man did not have a confidentiality agreement or a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, and that he is privy to information, conversations, and going forward, and he is listening, watching, paying attention. This is an oversight on people on their team that knows what they're doing. They know what they was doing. Man, I knew Meg Thee Stallion was lying the minute that she showed up on Gayle King. Before we ever seen any evidence, when she was up there and Gayle King asked her that question, and she started saying them fake tears, and she was like, oh, we did not sleep together. And then she voluntarily admitted that he was busting her down for a real one. He voluntarily admitted that she voluntarily admitted on her own documentary that she was busting it down for a real one. And everybody just glossed over it and didn't make no frets about it whatsoever. This is the worst thing ever, because we'll sit there and we'll advocate for people that did some of the worst things in society that we know is they guilty. They want to throw people under the bus that they don't even know if they're guilty or not. They just get an accusation thrown. They'll listen to Jaguar Wright before they actually listen to the evidence. The woman said out of her own mouth, she killed her own credibility, and they still sent this man to jail. And you think that you above it? Listen, if they sending Tory to jail and then they trying to put a hit on him, guess what? You ain't got a chance in hell, bro. I said it. I screamed it from the mountaintop. They tried to cancel me. They tried to say that I was misogynist. They tried to say that I hate women. They tried to say that I don't believe women, that we need to believe all women for weeks and weeks and weeks. And these crazy women that was on my panel was sitting there telling me that, and including, y'all know who. And I said it, and I stood on it, and I stood 10 toes down on it. And these people said that I was crazy. They said that I was crazy. They said that he deserved to go to jail. He deserved to be in prison. He needed to do longer than 10 years. And now that the evidence is out, I want apologies on behalf of Tory Lanez from every single woman and every single simp that said that he deserved to be in jail. Free Tory Lanez and free Diddy. And I'm standing on that too. Right back after that. Free Tory Lanez and free Diddy.
To speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example,
what did I say a long time ago about some of our black women? Not all of them, but some of them. What did I say? What did they get mad at me when I said? Because Tory Lanez is being treated somewhat like Emmett Till, except from by his own people. From people that y'all say that we need to align with and that we all need to be on the same page. What did I say? I said that when it comes to black culture and when it comes to the majority of the men in their downfall, black women have been more hurtful, harmful, and more impactful in a negative way to black men than white people are today. That men don't have to worry about a white man coming after them. They don't have to worry about a white woman getting them lynched. The thing that they have to worry about is the person that they just got done busting down that they sleep next to, that they close their eyes next to, and they said that I was crazy. They said that I was off. They said that I was off and I was right and I've been right and I'm going to continue to be right and I'm going to continue to say it when it's unpopular. What they say in church, in season and out of season. I'm a preaching in season and out of season. They said that I was wrong and I was right. I've been right. I'm still right. I'm going to be right. And ain't nothing that you can say that can lead me to believe anything other than that. Because as the evidence continues to come out and pile up, I am right. And the person that you have to worry about is the spouse or the person that you having a good time with right next to you. They're going to convict you. They're going to throw you in jail. They're going to sue you. Think about it. All of the men that are getting these lawsuits against them that were in consensual relationships, at some point, him and that woman probably had a good conversation. They was vibing with each other. They was texting back and forth. They hugged on each other. They was busting each other down, giving it in, having a most intimate moment. That's the person that takes you to child support court and say, I hate you. That's the person that's going to prevent your son from being able to see you. That's the person that is going to go in court. They going to go on national TV for Gayle King. They're going to put a gag order on you, say you can't talk, sue you if you do. Go on Gayle King, lie to her, go in court, lie in court, and then they're going to convict you in a court of public opinion, kill your reputation, your ability to be able to make money, send you to jail for 10 years, and then they're going to try to put a hit out on you. They're going to try to put a hit out on you if the evidence starts to come out to say otherwise. If that's not accurate when it comes to your true enemies, I don't know what is. I don't know how much more blatant that it could be right in front of you. The one that you are kissing and you told her you loved her and you want her to have your baby is the person that's going to give you 10 years in jail, and the Mexican is going to be hitting you 14 times trying to take you out.
There were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Ms. Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate. Highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Gianno Caldwell, a media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
Y'all can go and research the rest of it. Somebody in the chat says, is Cassie black? Yes, her father is Filipino and her mother is black. That's what it says. That's what it says online, according to AI. I don't know how true that is, but yes, they're saying that her father is Filipino and her mother is black. That's what they're saying online. So yes, she is black, technically. Her mother is a passport sis. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe. It's sad. It's very sad that we see this happen to people and they don't deserve it. I'm all for holding people accountable for the things that they did. I don't believe in convicting people in a court of public opinion before you get the evidence.